On to some NFL talk now. I wish I could do the John Facenda voice from the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. I love those old NFL film stuff. I also love that I looked at the charts this past week, the Billboard Top 40, and climbing the charts right now all the way up to number 21 on the charts. Yes, it is none other than our very own Lon Tremain-Woodcock coming in with a ukulele song, Honolulu Blue. Lon, in case people missed it and don't know about Honolulu Blue, please indulge us with your song.
All right. Can do. Season, or was it 2 seasons ago, where we thought DeAndre Swift had killed right?
2.
That was cool.
It was 2.
It was 2. Poor guy. Matt Stafford's a stranger. Tom Brady's a football deflator. Kid Rock sucks at making music. That didn't rhyme. Don't matter. That's what I'm saying. Detroit Lions, what we gonna do when Goff throws for a gain of 2? We're gonna be Honolulu. Coach Campbell's gone insane. Martha Ford, is she to blame?
And he's got to turn the page. What the
Sponsor has a damaged brain. Detroit Lions, what we gonna do when Goff gets the Wuhan flu? We have no QB2, which is much better than Timberland. Barry Sanders, what you gonna do? Gonna retire before 32. Calvin Johnson, they're both 31. We're gonna
Nice job. Way to go, Lon. Love it.
That was so proud.
Yeah, it probably was. I think you did a better job the last time, and the
I know I did a better job the last time.
pre-recorded version that's climbing up the charts is much better than that. But that's okay. We'll just blame it on you being drunk on a Friday night. So, okay, Lon, let's start with you, because I think you have the game that is least interesting for us to preview here in this week of the National Football League, and that is the Lions hosting the Philadelphia Eagles. How do you see this shit
What do you mean?
down?
That can go either way.
No, it's not. So last year, if we recall, well, at least I recall, the Eagles blew us out of the water. I mean, like, waffle stomped us. And it came from every direction. The Lions really didn't have an answer for any of it. Jalen Hurts, yeah, he's not, like elite yet, knock on wood. But their running game is legit, that read option they got. Now they got A.J. Brown to boot, and they got an up-and-coming tight end. And the Lions seem to be banking a lot on Aiden Hutchinson. And that's just kind of wishful thinking. I mean, Ndamukong Suh was, when he came, he made an immediate difference. That's, and I'm expecting Aiden Hutchinson to definitely put on some pass rush and put on a good show, but I don't think he's going to be it shouldn't be all put on him.
If nothing else, at least he could perform Billie Jean well, and everybody loved it on Hard Knocks. So you got to give Aiden Hutchinson credit for that. People were going crazy for his rendition of Billie Jean. It might have been better than your rendition of Honolulu Blue.
Well, we both sing like crap, so we're all both on the D line.
Hey, those people on the Billboard charts, They think otherwise.
you're not expecting Jared Goff to come up big here in the Lions to pull off an upset in Week 1?
What is that trick question? Yeah. I think it's first off. I mean, Jared Goff. Everybody's like, "Don't worry, we have to give him time." What do you mean? There isn't it's either now or never. Damn it! He's already been to the Super Bowl with the Rams. He's got nowhere else to go. And if he doesn't come through, we don't have another quarterback. I think we just picked up some backup from the 49ers. And
it's Nick Mullins. I think is the backup.
No, it's not Nick Mullins.
Nick Mullins? It's not Nick Mullins? Where's Nick Mullins at? I thought he was up there.
I thought he's on the Commanders.
I don't know. What the hell? Who cares where Nick Mullins is? Anyways, the Lions, Eagles, do you guys miss Stafford at all? So watching that game last night, I really thought that game was going to be a lot closer. I actually thought the Rams were going to have
Mullins
a chance.
On the Vikings, by the way.
On the Vikings. There we go. He's in the NFC North somewhere. And then Matthew Stafford did what he did a lot in Detroit, which was throw picks. And let me say this about Matthew Stafford, because the guy ends up getting a Super Bowl title. If Jaworski Tart, is that his name? Jaworski Tart, safety for the San Francisco 49ers last year, if he could catch a damn ball that's thrown directly to him and into his chest, Stafford doesn't go to the Super Bowl. The Niners would have been in the Super Bowl. Tart dropping that pass cost the Niners the Super Bowl, got Stafford there, and then Stafford ekes out a win against Joe Burrow. I'm not sure Matt Stafford is all that, and after last night's performance, I'm really not sure. What the freak was that? I get that it's Week 1, and we should
Super Bowl hangover is real.
It was kind of ugly, man. The Rams in the second half, and really, is there no one else to throw to than Cooper Kupp? Is there no one else on that team?
No, there isn't. No, there isn't.
Matt, I mean, Higbee's legit, but yeah, I mean, they lost quite a few receivers. But Stafford does have that type of problem. He had it with the Lions. I don't know if it's almost like a hero complex or something, but he, at least in Detroit, he was damn near running for his life. But he always had Calvin Johnson. He always had that one receiver. It was Calvin Johnson. Then once Calvin retired, it became Kenny Galladay, and then he went to the Rams, and now it's Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Well,
so I mean,
it's not even just you mentioned they lost the wide receivers. They traded one away, and one of their more dependable one in Robert Woods. And you lost OBJ obviously for the knee injury. But I'm just like, you exchanged Robert Woods for what? Allen Robinson?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't know what they were thinking they were going to get in Allen Robinson, but I think Allen Robinson's cashed. I think he's done.
Well, and the other thing too about last night is, when did Jalen Ramsey become the worst cornerback in the
NFL?
Good point.
But he's been there.
See, I was not a fan of the NFL Top 100, and I saw Ramsey in the top. Ramsey's a pro, and I give him respect, but especially last season, you could see that he was like Eli Apple, but on the Rams.
I mean, that's no lie, dude. He's not wrong.
He's getting torched.
He was getting torched last night. I mean, it was pretty damn ugly. The Rams go down by what was it? What was the final? Was
Josh
it 31
Allen
to
with
10
the stiff arm of the year.
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable. The Bills. I mean, the Bills are supposed to be good. The Bills came out and they looked good. One of those interceptions definitely wasn't. Josh Allen threw a couple. One of them wasn't his fault. One of them definitely was.
One where he just coughed it up.
Yeah. But the Bills are going to be hard to stop all year. You figured that, but you figured if they were going to get a test at all, it was going to come from the Rams and then being Super Bowl champions. And that was nothing. And if the Rams are a good team, yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of good news for the rest of the NFC, isn't it? I mean, if you're a Packer fan and you saw the Rams last night, you're thinking, okay, this is good news for the Green Bay Packers because the Rams just didn't look like all that last night. And I get it.
Not too many contenders in the NFC.
There's not.
And yeah, honestly, I mean, and like I said, drawn from when I've seen Stafford in Detroit, he got sacked 7 times yesterday. He definitely has that the bad part of Brett Favre in him, which is, I'm just gonna huck this ball with all my might and pray to God that it just zips through everybody. And I hated when he did it in Detroit. And I hate watching him do it right now in the Rams, and that's why I had so many picks.
Yeah, I mean, it's why Brett Favre was.
nobody will call him mobile Matt Stafford at all, and that's another problem.
So, all right. So we have that. We have the Lions. Everybody, as far as picks go, are we all going Eagles on that one? Anybody going Lions?
Lions. I'll go.
You're going Lions
just to be faithful.
Wow.
Yeah, just because I got to. What type of fan would I be?
You would be a realist.
Realist.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
That's okay.
God forbid.
That's okay. My Bears pick is coming up. I'm also a realist.
You kind of have to be a little delusional to be a Lions fan.
Yeah, you do, man.
I'll drink the Kool-Aid on this one.
Okay, good for you. All right. Maybe you'll get that one right. I want to shift my attention to the Arizona Cardinals. And, Sean, you were right smack dab in the middle of it. You got a radio station that has all their games on. You're in Phoenix. I, for one, on the outside looking in, so even taking a look at the Rams game last night, I say, okay, that's a team maybe that the Cardinals can beat and that the Cardinals have been competitive with. And I think
maybe
there's
the
Niners.
Half of the season.
Yeah, and the Niners have Trey Lance, who we don't necessarily know what they got there in Trey Lance. The rest of the roster looks really good, but what do they really have there in Trey Lance? Why not Kyler Murray and the Cardinals? Why not a team that started off last year, what were they, 10-1, and were the toast of the NFC? Why not that team, Sean?
Video games.
I think the Cardinals are in for a rough season, to be honest with you. I think that no D-Hop for the first 6 weeks of the season. Their secondary is not very good. And, oh, by the way, they have the Kansas City Chiefs coming into town on Sunday. So they're thin at secondary. They just lost one of their cornerbacks who apparently dropped hot grease on his toe. And he's out now for a few weeks. He was cooking shrimp, apparently, and hot grease went on his toe, and he's out now. So
that's a vibe.
What a story.
They have no pass rush. The corpse that is J.J. Watt is not doing anything to help their pass rush. They let Chandler Jones go to the Raiders. So no pass rush against Patrick Mahomes. Good luck. Bad secondary against Patrick Mahomes. Good luck. I just don't think they're a very good team. They're going to have to try to outscore teams. I don't see that being a winning philosophy for them this season.
What about Kyler Murray? Your thoughts on him now that you get to cover him? I mean, there was definitely a lot of controversy following him in the offseason, the new contract, some of the language that was in that contract that then they had to take out, which to me, I really thought it kind of smelled racist, when you read it like that. I don't know if you felt that way about it all. I thought, it's kind of bad when you're forcing a guy to have to do homework. Either that or he just doesn't like to do homework. I'm not sure which one it is. But anyways, they end up extracting that from the contract. Your thoughts on Kyler Murray? Because, again, from the outside looking in, from a franchise that's never had a franchise quarterback, I look at Kyler Murray and say, ooh, that guy'd be good on my team. I would like that. Well, what are your thoughts on Kyler Murray?
Well, first, I got to give Steve Keim a lot of credit because if you remember in 2018, they drafted Josh Rosen in the top 5 or whatever, and then you rarely see a team after the first year be like, all right, we're out on this guy.
Yeah, that's true. And
then draft another quarterback. They would have usually given him 3-4 years. I mean, shoot, Jamarcus Russell got 2 years.
Yeah.
So I got to give credit for them at first. But I like Kyler Murray. But unfortunately for me, I still have a bad taste in my mouth watching him in that Monday night playoff game against the Rams last year when he threw the ball underhand out of the end zone and got an interception. So that wasn't his finest moment. But having said all that, he still got $230 million in the offseason. So he got his money. So it's a lot of pressure that's going to be on him this year. I just always feel like I like Kyler Murray, but I always just feel like there's only so far he can go. And maybe some of that is because of the studying. He's a guy that seems to like to get away with his natural ability and not putting in the work. That was the knock on him. So that clause was there because of him, not anything racist. It's the fact that he wasn't doing the homework consistently. And the team was like, we're about to give this man $230 million. So we're going to have to figure something out. But then when they got the negative backlash and everybody backed up and they took the clause out. But I'm not a believer in Kyler Murray being that dude. I think that he's only going to get you so far as a quarterback. I don't know if it's just decision making sometimes. He's still been getting banged up a bunch. He's undersized. So I'm just not a huge Kyler Murray fan. I understand with the market the way that it is, you had to give him that money, but I just don't consider him to be a top 5 type quarterback that deserves it.
What is the vibe for Cardinals fans in Arizona? When I lived in Arizona, and they were really good. They were coming off a Super Bowl. They had Kurt Warner. They had the edge, Edgerrin James at running back. I mean, that was a pretty good squad. They had Larry Fitzgerald.
Bolden,
Larry
baby.
Legend.
Yeah, Anquan Bolden. I mean, that was a hell of a squad, and yet, I mean, Arizona fans to me were always kind of lukewarm as far as fandom went, because it seems like a lot of people that lived in Arizona weren't from Arizona, weren't born there, and a lot of them
Still
didn't
not.
seem. Yeah, a lot of California people living in Phoenix and stuff like that. What's your take on the fandom as far as the Cardinals are concerned? How good are the fans down there?
They're not diehard. They're not Chicago Bears or Philadelphia Eagle fans, that's for sure. Dallas Cowboys. I mean, it's a very fair weather fan base. I would say now in 2022, they're not even the most popular team in the state because of the Phoenix Suns. So
wow.
I just think that they've taken a step back in terms of fandom out here. So the people are going to be there Sunday, but I don't think it's going to be a lot of Chiefs fans in there. I'll tell you that.
Do they still do their training camp up in Flagstaff at Northern Arizona?
No, they don't do that anymore in Flagstaff. They stopped that a few years ago. They actually do it at the actual stadium in Glendale. And
Okay.
I can tell you, I went to one of the days at training camp. I think there was as many people on this podcast as there were in the stadium.
Wow. Damn. That's not good, and when they did it up in Flagstaff, we lived about for a year, about 10 miles south of Flagstaff. We went to training camp. I mean, there weren't that many people there. Joey actually got an Edgerrin James jersey that was signed by Edgerrin James.
Damn,
so I
dude.
thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, he still has it. But anyways, let's shift gear. Let's pick this game. Are we all going Kansas City? Yeah, Chiefs, everybody.
It's a closer one, but yeah.
Chiefs.
Yeah.
Chiefs, huh?
Yeah, I think so
Definitely
too. I
Chiefs.
got them as well. Okay, I want to shift gears with you, Sean, a little bit because you're a lifelong Jets fan, which is as hard as being a lifelong Bears fan. I mean, it's that much misery. At least my Bears have won a Super Bowl in my lifetime, and I remember it. You haven't even seen that. They haven't even been to a Super Bowl in your lifetime. They came close a couple of times with butt fumble Mark Sanchez at the helm and Bill Parcells leading the way. So let's talk about your Jets. Zach Wilson out for game 1. Joe Flacco in to face the Ravens.
Dude, Zach Wilson's out. Jeez.
It's just painful listening to you tell me what's going on. It's just painful.
I'm not making any of it up, man.
Are we
You
picking
know.
the L already? Or?
It was -10 when the Jets won the Super Bowl. Like, this is ridiculous. Just negative baby at that point.
All right, so your feelings are okay. Obviously, Wilson isn't playing in this game, but your thoughts on Robert Saleh, the coaching staff, the Jets as a whole, their roster, Wilson, as a franchise quarterback. How you feeling about all of it? Any of it?
I don't feel good about any of it. I can't call Robert Saleh after just such a short time. I don't know what he is. He inherited an awful team, and they're not much better right now. I know everyone was celebrating the Jets because, we had a great draft in April. But I care about September through December. Mm-hmm. And September through December is where we're going to find out. And I know, I like Breece Hall, and I think Garrett Wilson will be okay. I know he's had some drops that has concerned some people in preseason. So they've got some key pieces. Quentin Williams on the defensive end, I really like him. C.J. Mosley's back. So defensively they have some players, but as a whole, I mean, even just they put all this investment in drafting Mekhi Becton. He can't keep a knee healthy his whole time in the NFL. They signed Dwayne Brown off the scrap heap. He hurts his shoulder. No left tackle going against the Baltimore Ravens now on Sunday. That game's going to be ugly. If someone in here tries to pick the Jets, I'm jumping through the screen. I'm just really off the podcast.
Yeah, especially, the Ravens have Lamar Jackson, who's betting on himself this year, which, by the way, I think is always a good bet when you look at quarterbacks that do that. Even Dak Prescott, in the year that he was betting on himself, got hurt and still made a fortune because that's the way that the market is, and I think it's going to work out really well for Lamar Jackson.
It'll come down to if Deshaun Watson ruined it for everybody with that guaranteed contract.
Yeah.
So I think that's what Lamar wants. And if he has a great season, they're going to have to give him Deshaun Watson guaranteed money. If he doesn't, then they'll have a little wiggle room, and he'll end up getting more in the Kyler Murray kind of range.
Yeah, it's not even Deshaun Watson. Blame the Cleveland Browns for freaking destroying the quarterback market because what an idiotic deal. I mean, it's great for Deshaun Watson. Again, any player that can get their money and get it that way, good for you, man. Take whatever you can get.
He's going to need it.
He's making
Just
better than Mel
enabling him.
Tucker money, and that's hard to do. So good for him.
By the way, if you ask me about Zach Wilson, it's still too early for him, but I would say that he should probably be wearing Lon's shirt right now. I think
Lon with the I Love MILF shirt. By the way, I wanted to comment on this, Lon. I was driving down Mifflin Street. This was a day after the Badger versus Illinois State game, and I'm driving down Mifflin Street, and there's a big bed sheet that's hanging off of one of the houses, and it said, Illinois DILFs, welcome. And so we all know what a MILF is. A DILF would be the male version of that. So it just reminded me of that. Yeah. And I was thinking to myself, wait a second. I'm from Illinois. I think I could pass as a DILF. Maybe I should go knock on the door. But nah, it was like Sunday morning.
Well, you got to
my buddy
be able to use social media in order to do that.
Yeah, right.
And my buddy says to me, bro, why do you get the MILF shirt? You should have gone for the GILF shirt. You know damn well you like old ladies.
Nothing wrong with GILFs either. So, okay. Last but not least, were we all picking the Ravens in that game, by the way? I think.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Okay. All right. I also wanted to hit on the Atlanta Falcons just a bit. Again, a market that you just left. All right. And now looks like a bit of a dumpster fire down there in Atlanta. A team that, by the way, and you had to live through it, had a 28-3 lead over the Patriots late in the third quarter before losing the Super Bowl. I don't think the Falcons have recovered since then. I'm not sure that the city has. Talk a little bit about the Atlanta Falcons, where they're at right now. I mean, everybody's got to love Kyle Pitts, but is there anything else to love?
I would say they've got three players that are worth anything. Grady Jarrett on the defensive line, he's really solid. He had three sacks in that Super Bowl that we won't talk about. And also A.J. Terrell, who's probably one of the better cornerbacks, probably top 3, top 5 in the league. Rookie or third year, he's been incredible for them. But other than that, they literally have the worst roster in the NFL if you look at it. There's nothing good on that. You're starting Marcus Mariota. Enough said. They're starting at running back your boy, Rich, Mr. Cardero Patterson.
I know.
Who did have a good year for them last year.
He did.
A lot of empty stats. But there's really only 3 players on that roster that you would want to have anything to do with. And that's Pitts,
How can
Terrell,
you
and
mismanage a team that poorly?
Wait, Patterson's their running back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was their starting running back last year.
Yeah, he was, and the backup was Mike Davis, another former Chicago Bear. I mean, it's like Bears Central down there. Ryan Pace, the former Bears GM that was just fired in the offseason, has brought 8 Chicago Bear players down there to Atlanta. That is not going to bode well for that franchise at all.
And that's why I say worst roster in the NFL.
Yeah, it's
Bringing in 8 Bears, you know where you're at as a roster.
Oh, my goodness. You know, out of all the guys that the Bears cut in the offseason, then all the guys that they cut to get down to their 53-man roster, they were signed by 0 teams. 0 teams went out and took anybody off of their roster.
Hey,
Nobody
they
off
made
of
the
waivers.
right cuts then.
Yeah, they did. I mean, it was just a total, dumpster fire in Chicago, and it has been for a few years now. Okay, so no one thinking good things about Atlanta. If there's anything to think good about in the NFC, I like how the Green Bay Packers look. Now, I understand they don't have a wide receiver right now that's proven to do anything. Alan Lazard is basically the best returning receiver that they have, and Alan Lazard is hurt. He's got an ankle.
And if you are outside of the NFC North and you know that name, then you must really love football.
Right. I mean, now we're talking about Romeo Dobbs and Christian Watson.
Sammy
guys.
Watkins, baby.
Sammy Watkins is there.
Yep.
The aged version of Randall Cobb. I mean, I remember when Randall Cobb was good in 2012. This is 2022, and Randall Cobb is still there. So the Packers don't have a wide receiver. I don't think it's going to matter because they got Rodgers, they got an offensive line, they could run the football. Their defense is lights the freak out, and they're in the NFC, which I think is really weak. And I think that the Packers are in good shape. Am I crazy, Eric, to think that the Packers are a good football team?
You're not crazy for thinking that. will say, it's going to be the most interesting game in the NFC North this week. You got the Vikings, and that's obviously going to be a matchup. You can't just like walk through that one and chalk it up as a W right away. But there's actually a lot of good storylines out of that one, because you obviously have the, we've got a quarterback situation. We've got, figuring out what's going on in defense, because you have Kendricks was a guy that the Packers wanted to draft back in the day. Kirk Cousins is like, all right, so he's puts up all these good stats, but he's only got 1 10-win season. So, chalk that up to whatever it is. And then Zadarius Smith, so he goes from being, linebacker with the Packers, Justin Jefferson, what he's going to do in the receiving, Dalvin Cook, of course. And so it's just, the other storyline for the Packers is going to be David Bakhtiari actually going to play? I mean, he says he's ready to go. So you got a left tackle, all pro, and I think that's really the kind of the gist of what's going to happen in that game. So
I don't like the Vikings
Packers
head coach
offense can do
at
that.
all. I don't think that was a really good hire. There's not a lot known about him, but he seems like kind of a flake up there, and I don't know if that's really going to help them. I love some of their pieces. I mean, who doesn't love Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen as wide receivers? I mean, that's probably the best 2 wide receivers in the NFL, and if they're not, they're right the hell up there with the Bengals, and a couple of other teams that maybe can make an argument. Maybe the Dolphins can make that argument now with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, and maybe the Chargers can be in that conversation or something like that. But I mean, that's a really good wide receiving tandem right there. And then you got Dalvin Cook at running back. I mean, Kirk Cousins is what Kirk Cousins is. There's a ceiling to Kirk Cousins, but if everything's perfect around Kirk Cousins, and there's going to be a lot of good at least, even if it's not perfect, I mean, that's a team that should score some points.
They should accidentally win some games,
Yeah, I think they will, but I think defensively they suck. I don't think they're very well organized. I think their coach is a bit of a flake. I don't have a lot of faith in that Vikings team at all. I've seen some people picking them to win the division and get far, and I'm like, what the hell are you looking at that I'm missing? Because I just don't see it. I see them in the same fray as the Lions and the Bears at this point.
I mean, I don't know if it's going to be that bad.
They're that
The Vikings,
bad. They're that bad. Listen, okay. They cannot stop the run. It was a problem for them last year. They got a bad secondary. Defensively, overall, I think it's just a mess. Now they're switching from a 4-3 to a 3-4. By the way, when the hell does that ever go smoothly in the first year that anybody ever does it? It never does. It's never like a defense gets better by going from 4-3 to 3-4 in the first year. It takes a couple of years to get that thing right. And even though they won't play a lot of 3-4 base.
Belichick.
Yeah, well, I mean, Bill Belichick can coach his way.
Big Vince Wilfork.
Right? Yeah, and there's certain guys that could do it. I don't know if they got the personnel up there that can do it. You need 4 good linebackers and 2 really good outside linebackers. You need a hell of a nose tackle. You got to have a guy that can play the 5. You got to have, a good safety as well. I look at that and I'm like, I don't see their defense stopping a whole heck of a lot. I think the Packers are going to run on them like crazy. Like crazy.
Well, the line's only 1.5. So.
I don't get it. It was 2.5 at one point, and the line's actually going the other way. I see the Packers running the hell out of the ball, and then if Rodgers is doing play action, oh my God, forget about it. Because there's nothing you could do. If they bite on that run at all, Rodgers is going to kill you, because all he needs is his receivers to get a hair open, and that guy fits it into windows. That guy is amazing. And so I look at this game, and I'm thinking to myself, because of my confidence pool, I picked this one pretty high. I like the Packers in this game. I think the Packers are a better coach team. I think they're more physical. I think their defense is good enough to shut Cousins down for a while. Cousins really struggles against good defenses, and the Packers are one of the best. And I really like the Packers running the ball. Matt LaFleur, I think, has something really good there. I think he's actually a really good coach. I look at this game, and I'm like, if you're a Packers fan, sleep easy, Pack by 10. I'm not going to go 38-10 on this one, Sean, like I did back in the day. Like my first week on the air at Good Karma with Sean, and I picked the Packers to beat the Vikings 38-10, and Randy Moss goes off, and the Vikings won that game easily. Yeah, whoops. But anyways,
there was many oops when you were on the radio, bro.
Absolutely. As well, there should be. Nobody's perfect. I like the Packers. Am I crazy, guys?
You're not crazy. I think you said something that is going to be the key to that game, because Minnesota can score. They can move the ball. They moved the ball against the Packers when they played them last year. But if the Packers can run the football with Dylan and with those guys, like, I think that's the difference. I think that's keep the ball out of Cousins' hands. You don't need Rodgers to throw for 400 yards. Just control the ball on the ground.
And he's not going to in that game.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the receivers to do it. He really doesn't. So, but I like the Packers. I think that the Vikings team's going to be in flux for a while. So I'm not really high on them at all. There are some people that are, but I don't like them.
I'm taking Green Bay 27-20.
If they didn't go through that damn coaching change, I think that's like the one thing the Vikings live for is to be that thorn in the Packers' balls that they always just seem to get like at least one win.
I was right, man.
When your goals for the
ridiculous win
season,
over.
when you literally have a coach, Lovie Smith, coming out and saying that we want to beat the Packers as like your goal, I think you're doing all right in the division.
Yep, absolutely. So, okay. So I got the Packers winning by 10, like 34-24. I do think the Packers are scoring. They cap off drives because Rodgers is good in the red zone and finishes drives, and I think their defense is good enough to at least slow the Vikings down. Eric's got Pack winning by 7. ST, Lon, who you got?
I'm going Packers as well, but I'm gonna go. I think it's going to be a little closer, but I think ultimately they'll grind out I'll say Packers by 6.
Did they really switch to a 3-4?
They did.
Do you know who their nose tackle is?
I don't know.
Vikings?
Packers. Yeah, Pack.
Yeah, you need somebody good at the nose. You really do. You got to have a guy that can take up 2 guys there, and if you don't have that guy, you're really screwed in a 3-4 defense.
By the way,
no, as a nose tackle. Yeah.
No, by the way, Rich, I think one team that's kind of intriguing. You talked about the Packers. I don't know why I'm drinking the Kool-Aid a little bit, but it's because I know we talked about the Falcons earlier, but the team they play at home on Sunday is the New Orleans Saints, and that's a team I think is going to be better than a lot of people think. I think it just all comes down to Mr. Jameis Winston, but defensively they're really good. They've dominated they've beaten the Buccaneers the last few times they played them.
I got it.
Michael Turner, Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave. I mean, Alvin Kamara is one of the top running backs when he's healthy. And they've got a strong defense as well. So the Saints might be that team. Like if the Buccaneers make the playoffs, it could be as a wild card, and the Saints could be the ones winning the NFC South.
Yeah, I like them as a dark horse in the South, and you made a really good point right there. They beat Tampa Bay for whatever reason. I mean, that's a real tough matchup for the Buccaneers and for Tom Brady. So you might have a really strong case right there. Another team I like as a dark horse in the NFC, even with a brand new quarterback at the helm, is the San Francisco 49ers. Now, the Niners, do you have a question there with Lance? I don't know how good he's going to be. I don't think anybody knows. I don't know how you can predict a guy who's only started 19 games in like the last 3 years. That includes college at the FCS level. And you're going to say, well, I know how good this guy is going to be, because I don't know how good he's going to be. I know they're really good when Jimmy Garoppolo's healthy and plays well, but the Niners with Trey Lance, are they going to be better? I don't know.
Rich, even with that, he's thrown in the last few years, including college, he's thrown under 100 or 400 passes. He's thrown under 400 passes. So we don't even have a strong enough sample size to know what he is as a quarterback.
You know, and you watch preseason. I know preseason doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot, but in preseason, you know, so some of the things that you're seeing is some inaccuracy. You know, I think the guy has a cannon for an arm, can run the ball. Obviously, he's fast as the wind. He's super strong. But, you know, what is he going to be in the National Football League? So if I'm the Bears and I'm looking at this game on Sunday, one thing that I'm doing, I'm going to zone the heck out of him. You know, I'm going to disguise coverages. I'm going to make him have to read the field. I'm going to try to keep him in the pocket. One thing that it used to be amazing to me, the Atlanta Falcons, when they had Mike Vick at quarterback, and Vick would run crazy on teams. The Packers could never corral Vick. I mean, Vick was the guy who beat them at Lambeau Field and broke the Lambeau Field mystique in the playoffs.
It was minus 70 degrees when he won. Like, they changed the degrees every year.
Like, but it didn't matter. He would run on the Packers, and then he would play the Bears, and the Bears would do two things. One, they would corral him in the pocket, so they would bracket him. And the second thing is you had a guy with the athleticism of Brian Urlacher who could spy him. And so now Mike Vick just struggled mightily against the Bears, just couldn't beat the Bears to save his life. But I think that the Bears are going to try to do.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. I think that they're going to try to do something similar to Trey Lance on Sunday. I think that's the way you at least try to beat him. You try that with Jimmy Garoppolo, and he'll just pick you apart right down the field. But Trey Lance is going to have to earn that respect in the National Football League that he could throw from the pocket, and that's where you're going to want to keep him. Now, he might be good enough to get outside the pocket. He might be good enough. He might be better than we all know. He might be a pocket genius, and Kyle Shanahan's onto something, and none of us have seen it at all. But they do have a lot riding on Trey Lance, which I also think is going to be really hard on him, knowing that they just re-signed Jimmy Garoppolo, who, by the way, his teammates love, because when Jimmy Garoppolo plays, they win. Whatever you say about Jimmy G, dude wins football games. I mean, that's true. And so now he's sitting there on the sideline, and everybody knows that if Lance struggles, and I don't think if he struggles on Sunday against the Bears that he comes out and Jimmy G comes in.
Not against the Bears defense.
I don't think he will either, because I don't think the pass rush is going to get to him. I don't think the Bears have a good enough secondary to stop guys like Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk. I just don't see it. But anyways, I think Trey Lance, though, if he does struggle, if he gets off to a slow start in the first 3 or 4 games, you're going to be hearing it in San Francisco. They want a Super Bowl there. They have a roster that can get there. They should have been there last year. And so if Tart makes that catch, Stafford doesn't go, the Niners are there. Who knows? Maybe they beat the Bengals the third time that they meet off in the Super Bowl. Anyways, looking at the Niners, I'm not sure what you got, but what I do know is top to bottom, that's one hell of a roster. That defense is scary good. Defensive line is ridiculous. They got defensive players at every level. The linebackers are good. They got safeties. That corner that they got, Ward, is unbelievably good. So now all of a sudden, I think the Niners are a real contender. It's going to be interesting to see, though. Give them, I think, 3-4 weeks to figure it out and what they got either in Lance or if they have to go back to Garoppolo. I do think when they play against the Bears, who, by the way, all right, let me say this. I like Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is going to be very good. Sean's not sold on Justin Fields. There are some stats, and I'll tell you this. Okay, this is
here
really.
We go, Mr.
Here we go.
Now,
I'm gonna throw some stats at you here. On play action passes last year, Justin Fields had the highest rating in the National Football League. However, because of Matt Nagy's stubbornness, the Bears threw the lowest percentage of play action passes in the National Football League.
He's got great stats as long as you don't think about how many he actually threw.
Second thing is on designed rollouts. Justin Fields' quarterback rating was 132. It was best in the NFL on designed rollouts. You know how many times that they rolled him out and designed a play to do it? 19 times. That's it. 19 times. You would think they would do 19 in a game if the guy is that good at throwing on the run, and he is. And he's
Maybe
very
they're
accurate.
trying to develop him into a pocket passer.
On passes more than 25 yards, he is tied with Aaron Rodgers for second best in the league for quarterback rating and for accuracy. The guy is going to be very good. He's now in a system that fits him very well. And I think the Bears are going to see them run the ball a lot. They're basically running the Niners offense. They're running the Packers offense right now. Luke Getsy comes over from the Packers. He was a quarterback's coach and passing game coordinator there. He comes down to Chicago. He takes that offense with him. I think the Bears will be better because of that. Now, yeah, I mean, when you got 15 rookies on a roster and you're starting a rookie left tackle against Nick Bosa, that's a recipe for disaster in a football game. I don't think the Bears match up very well in week 1 or week 2 when they play the Packers at Lambeau Field. But after that, the schedule gets really soft. They don't face another top 10 defense until they face the Packers again late in the season. And I think they're going to have a lot of time to grow, develop, and I think you're going to see Justin Fields take a huge step forward as long as he doesn't get hurt and killed by that, Swiss cheese offensive line that he has in front of him. All right, Sean, come on. Tell me where I'm wrong.
Listen, I don't know who Justin Fields' agent is currently, but
David Mulligetta. It's David Mulligetta.
Clearly you need to be his agent because you out here drinking the Kool-Aid for real.
And on top of it, he's vegan, which is really freaking awesome. Which
We lost Sean.
makes him... There we go. Real men eat plants, Sean. And Justin Fields, a vegan quarterback who I think is going to be really, really good. I do think on this year, the Bears do take a step forward. I think it's actually a team that's going to win 7 or 8 games. I think Matt Eberflus is excellent. I love Luke Getsy. Luke Getsy, by the way, had some interviews for head coach over this past offseason, and if he gets Justin Fields to take a step, Luke Getsy is going to be a head coach next year. I'd love for him to stick around at least 2 years for the Bears, but I think it's only going to be 1. I like Alan Williams as defensive coordinator. I like the hits principle. The Bears are more focused now on defense than they've ever been, and I like some of the pieces that they have on defense. Robert Quinn is really, really good. Roquan Smith is excellent. I think Eddie Jackson fits this scheme perfectly, and Eddie Jackson is going to be back as well. Plus, Jalen Johnson is a star in the making at corner. The Bears have some pieces. It's not all there yet. They're not ready to move up yet, but Justin Fields is going to be a lot better, which is going to make the Bears a lot better. They lose on Sunday, but I think after that you're going to start seeing they lose their first 2 games pretty badly. After that, it's a team that's on the rise.
They lose on Sunday, and they're not winning 7 games. If they win 5, you should be the proudest and happiest Bears.
Stop it
Ooh,
now.
damn.
Stop it. They won 6 last year with the second hardest schedule in the National Football League and a crap head coach. And there were, nothing at quarterback as well. They had no design plays for Justin Fields. They were building the offense for Andy freaking Dalton. Andy Dalton! Who, by the way, is
Hey,
on
that's
your
QB1.
Yeah, QB1 my ass. He's on that Saints team. By the way, if Jameis Winston gets hurt, your Saints prediction is out the freaking window because if they got to go, they got to go to the Red Rifle. I mean, you could probably say that about any team in the National Football League. Starting quarterback goes down. That's the end of it, except maybe in Pittsburgh. Yeah, and not in San Francisco is absolutely right. So okay, so everybody in that game picking the Niners. Anybody got faith in my Bears?
Why would I want that? I can't pick them. Can't do it.
All right, big fat no on all that. Okay, let's make our predictions. We're going to go around the horn here. I feel like I should be Tony Reale and giving out points to all of you as you're making points as we go along. But let's go.
Around the horn. Got it.
Around the horn. Division winners. Okay, let's start in the AFC West. The AFC West, by the way, is the best division in football. There is absolutely no doubt about it. The division winner is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't even think it's up for debate. As good as the Chargers, I think, are going to be, as a step forward as the Broncos tank, as much as Derek Carr, I think, is going to throw for the Raiders, I think the Chiefs have a bug up their ass to beat everybody and prove that they're the best team in that division. And I think Patrick Mahomes, of course, is absolutely outstanding. I like the Chiefs in that division. What say you guys?
Anybody?
I know.
I'm going to go.
It's hard. It's hard to argue that.
Yeah, it's Chiefs.
Yeah, you pretty much summed it up.
Hey,
I think the Chargers have to prove they can make the playoffs first before I'd actually even pick them to win the division. I mean, they choked away the opportunity to be in the playoffs last year with some blunders and horrific play calling by their head coach. So I need to see them actually get to the playoffs before I'd even predict. I think they can get to the playoffs, but they're not beating the Chiefs and winning the division.
I agree. And all of this MVP talk for Justin Herbert is all fine and good. But Patrick Mahomes, you got Aaron Rodgers, a 2-time MVP, back-to-back right now. And you got a guy in the AFC North where I want to go next in Joe Burrow, who I think is money. I'm sorry. I've seen a lot of quarterbacks come and go. I think Joe Burrow is the goods. I actually think he is the real deal. Here's the biggest reason why. His team believes in him whenever they take the field. They think they're going to win that football game, and that does a lot for a team. And, oh, by the way, it probably helps, too, that they improved their offensive line, and they got receivers up the wazoo. The best, probably top, if you're going 3 deep on a team, I'm going Cincinnati Bengals for my money as having the best wide receiver trio in the National Football League, and I think Herbert is just going to explode this year. I think it only gets better for him. I like the Cincinnati Bengals a whole heck of a lot, and as good as the Ravens roster is from top to bottom, and as much as I like Lamar Jackson, I don't have a lot of faith in the Steelers. I think the Browns are a bit of a mess right now, and so I'm going Cincinnati Bengals in the AFC North.
Wow, these hot takes are amazing, Rich.
Yeah, right. Going on a limb for that one.
What? Did you think I was going to go with Mitch Trubisky in Pittsburgh? Hell no.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's by default. I mean, you got Mitch Trubisky.
That's your boy.
Percent in your division. I mean, I know there's Lamar Jackson, but no, for sure, going with the Bengals. You mentioned the receivers. I mean, Jamar Chase is just incredible. T. Higgins, Joe Mixon, when he's healthy, he's a problem. So they have it on offense. They have a very improving defense. Rich, you alluded to, they improved on their offensive line. I just hope that Joe Burrow stays healthy, obviously. But Joe Burrow is a beast, and I see the Bengals winning it by at least a game.
Jamar Chase helped me win this very fine trophy in the Fantasy Football League that you are the commissioner of.
Round.
Yeah, unbelievable. And, so he was awesome all season long for me. Anybody else? Lon, you got something different? You going with Cleveland?
Cleveland?
Yeah, Bengals. I think that one's pretty easy. Okay, let's go to a division that might be a little bit harder to pick, maybe not. The AFC South, which all of a sudden sees your guy from Atlanta, Matt Ryan, go to Indianapolis, where Carson Wentz kind of crapped the bed last year, especially in that Week 17 or Week 18 game, whatever the hell it is, the last week of the season against the Jaguars, when all they had to do was win and they were in, and that didn't happen. So Wentz is now a Commander or Redskin or football team player, whatever the hell he is right now. He's gone. Matt Ryan goes in. I think it kind of changes that division a little bit because you look at some of the weapons they got with especially Jonathan Taylor at running back, who I think is just absolutely amazing. Oh my goodness. You got him and you got Matt Ryan, slinging the rock. I like the Colts, and I'm not sure that I like
defense, baby.
The Titans. The Titans lose A.J. Brown. They lose Julio Jones, which I don't know what the hell that is. But, they got, I'm going Colts, though, in the AFC South. Anybody else?
That's not really a hard pick either, I don't think.
No?
I think we're all in agreement there.
Yeah, I'm going Colts, too. I mean, Titans are going to be solid. I mean, you're going to run.
They'll
run Derrick Henry a bunch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Matt Ryan's just not a very mobile quarterback. I know the Colts have a really good offensive line to protect him, but he's also not a guy that throws the ball deep down the field. But he usually makes pretty solid decisions. I thought that was a good signing for the Colts. But just remember, if you get pressure on Matt Ryan, he's folding quick.
That's true.
But having Jonathan Taylor obviously will help offset that a little bit.
Absolutely. So, and then there's also Davis Mills and the Houston Texans in that division. Lovie Smith returns. Any good vibes coming from Houston? Anybody?
They could maybe go 5-12.
Yeah, 5. Wow.
Lovie Smith is a great defensive mind. I will definitely give him that.
Lovie Smith is he is the Black Santa Claus, man. That beard,
he sure is now. Yeah,
he should be Black Santa. I absolutely love Lovie Smith's beard. That's about all that I'm loving from that Houston Texans team, though, right now. And then you got the Jaguars. Doug Peterson takes over down there. Trevor Lawrence is going to be in year 2. I think they get better, right? Or yeah, it can't be worse
Travis
than Urban Meyer.
If he's healthy, because I really like Travis Etienne. You saw some rookie mistakes last year from Trevor Lawrence, but you trust the talent and the ability that he'll be better in year 2. But they signed Christian Kirk to a contract that I still don't even understand why they did that at wide receiver. But they'll be, and they tried to go deep in the free agency and bringing in Foye Oluokun and some others. So they're invested to try to get better. But it's not saying much with how much of a dumpster fire that situation was.
They
last
spent
year,
big money on Christian Kirk, man. I mean, money that he had not earned. I was really surprised that that's as high as he went in the market. So okay, so we're all going Colts in the AFC South.
I'm gonna go
Titans. Oh, Lon. All right.
Yeah, I believe in the King if he stays healthy.
Okay.
I mean, they're probably only like a game out, so yeah. I mean,
yeah.
All right, I like them.
It's not going to be a huge separation.
Yeah, I think they're well coached. I think that's a pretty good football team. I do agree. I like the Colts a little bit better. I like Matt Ryan even more than I like Tannehill as well. So we go to the AFC East, the division that Sean's Jets reside in. It's the Buffalo Bills and everybody else. We can just say the Bills and
everybody else. Yeah.
Can we move on, please?
Okay. No one's feeling good about the Dolphins. Yeah.
Dolphins will be better, but they're not better than the Bills.
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, Dolphins got a good defense. I'm not a Tua guy. I haven't seen it yet from
No.
Tua to believe. Now, he's got weapons. If he doesn't do it this year, I think the Dolphins are moving on from Tua because
he's a middle of the road quarterback. Yeah,
I don't know what else you give him. You give him Armstead at left tackle. You give him Tyreek Hill as a receiver. He's got Jalen Waddle. I mean, this guy's got the weapons to make this thing go. If he can't make it go, I think it's on him at this point.
Yeah, Raheem Mostert they brought over from San Francisco. So,
yeah,
I mean, you're right. They gave him the weapons. There should be no excuses this year for Tua. I don't want to hear about anything about that. Like last few years, no weapons. He was in a bad situation. All that's out the window now. Now you got to perform and you got to deliver now because the team invested around you. So no more excuses.
I want to go Patriots, honestly, because, I mean, maybe it's just because Lawrence Taylor is my absolute guy, and Belichick coached him up, and Belichick's a defensive mind. But I think that if he lets Mac Jones a bit off the leash, quits holding his hand throughout the whole season, and Bill Belichick goes to building that defense that I'm not even like a Bill Belichick fan. I think he looks like an old nutsack. But he builds some of the greatest defenses
he is
I've
Emperor
ever
Palpatine,
seen play.
so.
Hey, you know what?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
It's hard to go against him. It is, though. I mean, he does find ways, and if anybody's going to, conquer the Bills, it would be Belichick, I think, in that division.
His offense is so simple that you can literally plug and play, which I agree Brady was definitely, at least with the Patriots, a system quarterback, because all he had to do was be competent, which is what Brady is, and more. But it's the defense. Belichick's a defensive genius, and when he's able to now be confident that his offense is competent, he can go back to doing what he does best, which is building a great defense.
All right, let's switch
I
over.
can't believe they won a game last year where Mac Jones threw the ball 3 times.
Yeah.
That was a great game. That was an awesome game.
The Patriots just find ways to beat you, and they'll adjust their game plan to whatever they need to do to win. And in the wind, it seemed to work very good for them. Okay, NFC time. We started the NFC West. We saw what the Rams were last night. I know it's week 1. You can't make that much out of week 1. You got the Rams, you got the Niners, the Cardinals, and the Seahawks. The Seahawks are a complete joke, I think, right now. That's a crappy roster. You're starting the season, and Sean would know this. If you start the season with Geno Smith as your quarterback, it's going to be it's going to be a bad year up in the Great Northwest for the Seattle Seahawks. So we're going to write them off. Sean already told us to write off the Cardinals. It comes down to the Rams and Niners, which I think at this point is a bit of a coin toss. Again, the Niners to me are a bit of a coin flip because we don't know what Trey Lance is. If Trey Lance is good, then the Niners are going to be unworldly good. I think they take the NFC. If Trey Lance isn't good and you're vacillating and going back between him and Garoppolo, I think the Niners will struggle a little bit. So I'm going to take, even after last night, I'm going to take the Rams in the NFC West.
Yeah, I suppose that's rough because that's the old saying: if you got 2 quarterbacks, you got none. So I don't know if that becomes I don't know, just a distraction for them. But I don't know, because the Rams going out and losing, Thursday Night Football kind of makes it a little unfair to look at. We don't know what the 49ers look like, I guess I'll just go Niners just by default. I think that's the team.
All right.
If Sean McVay,
I can't go Niners. I need just right now. I got to go with Sean McVay figuring it out. I felt like the Rams last night played like a team that for some reason didn't know what they were or who they were. And I think Sean McVay will figure that out. So I'm going Rams. I think the Niners make the playoffs again. I do think Trey Lance is going to be a good player, difference maker this year for him, but I still think they fall short of winning the division.
I think if they protect Stafford and if Sean McVay does what he did last year, which I don't know what they got to ante up anymore, but if they do what they did last year and just start picking people throughout the season, you protect Stafford. I believe in Aaron Donald.
Yeah, all right.
I think the Rams got it.
All right, so it's 2 Rams, 2 Niners. We go to the NFC South. Sean was high on the Saints. You got the Buccaneers there. You got the Falcons that are in that division as well, and the Carolina Panthers. So we don't need to spend a lot of time on that quarterback battle between Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold that ended up happening. I don't think that the Carolina Panthers. I don't think that they're garbage, but I really think that we've seen the end of Matt Rule. I think this will be his last next year down there in Carolina. I would like to get excited.
Over-under on games that Christian McCaffrey plays this
Yeah,
year.
I was just going to say that. I would like to get excited about Christian McCaffrey, who is the great white hope at running back. And, if he plays more than 5 games, 5 full games, it would be a miracle. I think you set the over-under, is it 4.5? Is that a good over-under?
Is there actually a prop out there? That'd be hilarious.
I would like to know. I'm sure there is. Yeah, I'm sure there is.
Sure
I mean, the guy is hurt every single year. I mean, it's not fluke injuries anymore. When you're hurt every season, it's not a fluke. You're just injury prone, and McCaffrey is definitely that. I mean, if he's healthy, yeah, maybe that's a 500 team that in the NFC. Yeah, maybe they can do some things if they're trying to save Matt Rule's job. I don't think Matt Rule's all that good. I'm just not that impressed by him. We already know that we don't like the Falcons, so it comes down to the Buccaneers and the Saints. I kind of like that dark horse vibe, but I'm still going to go with the sure thing. And I like Todd Bowles as a head coach. Now, Sean might not. He was the head coach of the Jets there for a while, but I think Todd Bowles has something, and something that I think players respond to, and I think the Buccaneers are going to be okay. I think that they're winning the division.
Clearly Tom Brady did too, since he damn near ran Bruce Arians to retirement. So for Todd Bowles. So there's that. I think that when it comes down to it is that there's something, I know how Brady has looked these last 2 years, but remember how great Brett Favre looked year 1 in Minnesota and how awful and dreadful he was in year 2? I just feel like that day is coming. It's going to come. And the Buccaneers' offensive line is a disaster right now.
There's also reports that him and his wife are not doing so well. So, man.
Right, which is why he needed to go away for a little while. Like, something feels like that could be a disaster this year. I don't know. So
that's the wild card.
They have talent. They may get a wild card, but something about me just feels like it could be the Saints' year to win the division. So I'm not saying the Buccaneers won't make the playoffs, but I'm just giving the edge to the Saints because I think they're a more complete team right now on both sides of the ball.
Sean's got the Saints. Eric, or Lon. Go ahead, Lon. You're already in there. Who do you got?
If you can't protect Tom Brady, he's done. That's my biggest thing with Tom Brady. If he is not protected, Tom Brady will give you the game. That was like the one crowning thing Matt Patricia did in Detroit was have Tom Brady's card. So, yeah, I'm going to pick the Saints on a complete whim here.
All right. Going Saints. Eric Rogers.
I think based on what we think we know right now, I just have to go with Buccaneers. I mean, until I'm proven otherwise, we're here to pick a winner today, and that's just where the information is telling me to go.
We are split on that one. We go to the NFC East, the NFC least. Probably again. Yeah, you have the Commanders, which I think is an awful name for a football team. I liked the football team better than I liked Commanders. At least the football team was kind of singular and kind of cool. Commanders is neither of those things.
It was like they had just totally take it. All right, hey, we don't have a team name right now. We're embracing that. We are the football team.
Oh, they're embracing douchebaggery all over the place, especially when you get Carson Wentz as your quarterback. I mean, you're embracing the suck right there.
Suck.
We had the vegan cyclist on talking about embracing the suck. Carson Wentz is the suck. Obviously, Carson Wentz had some good years in Philadelphia. Maybe was on his way to an MVP year, but that same team was led to a Super Bowl victory by Nick Foles. Nick Foles, who, by the way, sucks ass. All right, I've seen him in other places. Nick Foles is not a very good quarterback, but was able to take that team to the Super Bowl and win it because that team was so damn good and was loaded with talent everywhere, up and down. Carson Wentz doesn't have that luxury this year. The Giants, I don't understand why you would stick with Daniel Jones yet again. You got a new coach. You got a new GM. You're really going to stick with Daniel Jones as your quarterback? What over the last 3 or 4 years have you seen from Daniel Jones that makes me say, oh, yeah, that's the guy, man. That's the guy we got to start the season with. Anybody else than Daniel Jones would have been better to start your season
anybody
with.
But Daniel Jones.
I don't get it, man. I mean, the guy doesn't have it. Now, it's not Mike Glennon. Don't go to Mike Glennon. We saw that in New York last year. We've seen it in Chicago.
He still
We've seen
plays.
That.
That's ridiculous.
Oh, my God. I can't believe that guy plays. I mean, and finally, he's embracing the nickname of the giraffe. I mean, the neck on that guy seems to grow like Pinocchio's nose. It's unbelievable. But anyways, yeah, he's still in the league. The Giants, I don't think, are very good. So it comes down to the Cowboys and the Eagles. The one thing I don't like about the Cowboys is Mike McCarthy. I don't think Mike McCarthy's a very
he's
good
a highly
football
successful
coach at all.
NFL football coach.
Yeah, well, I mean, thanks to having Aaron Rodgers and thanks to having, good management in Green Bay. Yeah. When Thompson
his slip is showing.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy's just not that good of a coach. Why you let a guy go like Cooper? You let Amari Cooper go. You're paying Ezekiel Elliott God knows how much money, $17 million for a running
he only
back
pays
this
half
day and age.
price for a shirt.
He's
I don't
the
know.
second best running back on his team. There's no argument whether or not he's the second best running back in the NFL. He's not even as good as Pollard is. I don't get it.
No.
I don't know about that. I like Dak Prescott a lot. And there are things about the Cowboys that are good. The best thing that happens for them is that they're in the NFC East. But this year, I kind of like the Eagles. The Eagles have a very good roster, and I do think Jalen Hurts continues to take a step forward. It helps him to have A.J. Brown in there as well because now he's got a legit number one wide receiver. They're good at the tight end spot. I'm taking the Eagles in the NFC least.
I'm with you. I hate that I'm agreeing with you so much.
I know, right? What is this?
I agree, though, because I think the Cowboys got worse. I mean, you mentioned that they let Cooper go, but they also, however it went down, they lost Randy Gregory off their defense. DeMarcus Lawrence has regressed as far as the defensive end and pass rusher. So defensively, they're not better. And offensively, I like Dak too, but I'm trusting CeeDee Lamb to be the number one receiver, and I don't see it. So I'm going Eagles. But I also would say what the Eagles did is they doubled down the same way the Dolphins did. They put people around Jalen Hurts. So it's no more excuses. We got the pieces here, buddy, so you got to step up and deliver. I'm going to say that they do, and I'll go Eagles winning the East.
Yep, I agree. I like Hurts. I think he does deliver. Lon, what say you?
I'm a defensive guy, and it's really going to come down to whichever team has the most competent defense. If Diggs can knock off this half-ass primetime wannabe primetime attitude, I think that the Cowboys defense is going to come through.
He's freaking good.
Really, I'm going to go Cowboys, but
Micah Parsons is a nice piece too. I mean, Dallas does have a solid defense. I just can't get over.
I don't like going with Cowboys.
Yeah, and I just can't get over Mike McCarthy. I mean, I can't believe he's the head coach down there. Why the hell can't Jerry Jones get a head coach?
This is literally the hardest pick that we've done. Today. It's you've got a Cowboys team that you mentioned Mike McCarthy, and he's definitely, as someone who's seen him as the Packers coach, mismanaged several games. You're not really sure what's the health of you got Dak Prescott coming back, and that just a lot of questions there. But do I stick with the Cowboys somehow always seem to be relevant at the end of the year, whether they win it or lose it? Is kind of up for debate. But I guess just by the fact that they're there, I'll just go Cowboys.
Going Cowboys. All right, we're split on that one. Okay, so that's going to get us. I mean, I know that there's wild cards thrown in. If you guys want to talk wild cards, we can debate that all we want. It's like talking about the 52nd man on a 53-man roster. I'm not all that interested in who's making the wild card and who's not. What I'm interested in now is who represents the AFC, who represents the NFC, who is going to the Super Bowl. I know that our picks mean absolutely jack squat in the grand scheme of things, but you got to put them out there. And so we talked about all of our division winners in the AFC. Man, I'm riding Joe Burrow's train. Almost every single time the quarterback that loses the Super Bowl, not only does he not get back the next year, he doesn't ever get back. It's like the last 12 quarterbacks that have lost their first trip to the Super Bowl have never been back to the Super Bowl. So there is that long-standing tradition that I think is broken. I think it's busted open by Joe Burrow, who I think is the real deal. I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals to repeat as AFC champions. Who you got? AFC.
Chest, boy.
Yes, I did. All right, who's next? Come on, jump in.
Is it really between the Bills and the Bengals? I feel like that's kind of where it's got to be, and I just don't know. I mean, there's something to be said for the heartbreak that the Bills had endured last year. So I'm going to go with the Bills heading to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm going to go Bills.
Yeah, Bills too. I mean, I think the addition of Von Miller is going to be big. Was big for them, and you saw
he
evidence of that last night. That defensive line
that was
incredible.
nuts. Yeah.
The only flaw the Bills have is I don't know what they do if on their ground game. Their running game is not that strong. I'm not trusting Devin Singletary. So
What?
I think that's the only negative I have. But offensively and defensively, they can score and they can stop you.
Here's the other thing, and my son and I were talking about it watching the game last night. I hate seeing Josh Allen run in with the big boys. When they run him up the middle, I just don't understand it. If you got a quarterback like that, take him out on the edge where he could stiff-arm defensive backs. That's cool. But when you run him inside with those guys that are 300 pounds or those linebackers going 260 that are running 4 or 5 40s, you're asking for trouble, man, and I just see it coming. It seems to me like a million miles away. You could see this thing coming, that he's going to get hit and hit badly, and it's going to end badly. So you guys all have the Bills. I'm going to ride Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. In the NFC, and we talked about all the division winners, I think a lot of these teams are shaky as hell. I don't see a perfect team in the NFC. I don't know if there's anyone that I really like. It's hard to go against Brady, I guess. You know, you got the Niners in a good roster. You got the Rams who were there last year. I hate to say this. As a lifelong Chicago Bears
he's
fan.
He's going to say it. He's going to say it.
Here's what I'm going to say. The group that is the best in the NFC is the Green Bay Packers defense. They don't have a special teams problem anymore because they actually have a competent special teams coach now.
How about
something
that?
they haven't had in like a freaking decade. And, by
that's
the
no
way,
lie.
they have the best quarterback in the NFC and probably in the NFL. So I don't know who is going to top that because I don't see a more complete team in the NFC. Yes, they are missing wide receivers. Wide receivers usually don't win Super Bowls. I get Cooper Kupp. I know we saw it last year. Okay, I get that. Okay, and I see the Tyreek Hill and all of that. I get some of that. You can win a Super Bowl without having a great wide receiving core. The Packers have less than a great wide receiving core, but they got a quarterback that can make them really damn good and good enough to win football games. They're going to pound the rock, play that defense, win some tight games, and blow some bad teams out. I take the Green Bay Packers going to the Super Bowl.
You know, that was really hard for Rich to do that.
Really
That
hard.
was-
But I got to call it like I see it, man.
I'm saving this one in the archive as the day that Rich
my goodness,
became a Green Bay Packers fan.
We were on in Madison for years for teams that should be going to the Super Bowl when Brett Favre was at the helm, and I never picked him. You know, I couldn't see it.
It was so
arguments
hard being a reporter in 2014 and watching that NFC Championship game between the Packers and the Seahawks. There's 5 minutes
No,
left.
it wasn't.
I literally... Huh?
No, it wasn't.
Well,
It wasn't
shut up.
hard at all.
I'm sitting there
I
texting
think
my
I
sports
got hard
director.
by the end of the game, but it wasn't hard at all. It was
Hey, asshole.
It was beautiful.
texting my sports director like, "Hey, when do we want to book tickets?" And that was the end. So I think it was my
a
fault.
thing of beauty when Julius Peppers made what's his face go down after the interception. Just go down.
Yeah,
I'm like, what the hell was he doing? I mean, some of the decisions they made were so idiotic. I loved every minute of it. And you know, I'm a big Russell Wilson guy. I like him anyway. So okay, I want Packers. Who you guys?
Why'd you
got?
not pick Denver to go to the Super Bowl then?
I know. Well, I don't like him that much.
Sierra does.
Yeah, exactly. who you guys got in the
His
NFC?
real estate
Come
agent
on.
does.
I'm going with the San Francisco 49ers. I'm all in with the
Wow.
trade.
Okay.
I'm all in. I was debating between the Saints and the 49ers, but I'm gonna go 49ers.
You're Chris Berman right now. You're picking the Niners and the Bills. He did that like freaking 20 years in a row. Doesn't he pick them every year? He's got to come back and do that again. I think you're Chris Berman at this point, picking Niners and Bills.
Which means the Niners are
ballers.
a wild card because you had the Saints winning the division.
No.
that again?
Whoops, my bad. I was looking at different divisions.
Wrong division. That's all right. Okay.
Forget that happened.
Who's next? Lon, Eric, who you guys got in the NFC? Don't
there,
all jump
buddy.
in at once.
That's Green Bay. I'm holding up my Green Bay Packers jersey. It's got
All right.
This is the year, right?
Mark my words. This year, it's the Lions.
It's the Lions.
Lions are going to the Super Bowl. No,
Lions,
I'm
Lions.
saying it right now.
Hey, I'm
Now,
out. We've officially cut the Rams.
let
See
me
y'all later.
elaborate.
Hold on.
Lions-
Let the man speak. Let the man speak.
Lions are. Jameson Williams is going to come in hot. We're about to have the best trio of receivers in the NFL. Hawk's going to go off. The stars are going to align. Dan Campbell's going to restore the roar to that Lions defense. Aiden Hutchinson. Captain Alex Anzalone is going to go off. I think the Lions are going to take it. They're going to be up Rodgers' ass. and it's over. It's done.
If the Packers don't make the Super Bowl and the Lions do, that'll be all right. That'll be
Wow.
interesting to see. So
It would be interesting.
I'm going to
Let's
make
watch some history.
I'm going to travel with my Detroit Lions replica Super Bowl ring. I'm going to make each one of you kiss it.
You better go to.
I will do it, man. I will get down on all freaking fours and kiss that replica ring if the Lions get to
Honolulu
the
Blue
Super Bowl.
becomes number one.
Oh,
in that
my
case.
goodness. Absolutely, it would.
Walk to the Super Bowl to downtown Glendale from Phoenix if the Lions make the Super Bowl.
Absolutely. All right. So I got Bengals, Packers in the Super Bowl. I don't care. I don't care about any jinx. I don't care about any history. Joe Burrow breaks it all. Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals are your Super Bowl champions. What are we up to? Super Bowl 55, 56 right now? I don't even know what the hell it is anymore. The Bengals win it all for the first time in franchise history. I got a man crush on Joe Burrow. I think he's the real deal. So yeah,
Joe Diesel.
I'm riding him all the way. Joe Diesel is legit.
Ride
Yeah.
him all the way, all right.
I am. Swinging from the you-know-whats. Okay, so I got the Bengals. Who you guys got?
Bills over Niners. They get it done this year.
I'm going to go with Packers over Bills. Aaron Rodgers gets his second ring, and
then
I
retires.
think we see
retires?
I think we see some changes, yeah.
Okay, I'd be okay with that as long as he retires afterwards and just goes away and just does his Ayahuasca and whatever else he does. Great. I'm okay with that. Lon,
Don't do it, Lon. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Lions and Bills, Lon, in the Super Bowl.
Lions and Bills.
Don't.
It's going to be one of the most poetically beautiful Super Bowls that we've ever witnessed. Two franchises longing for a Super Bowl win. It's going to be beautiful, and it's going to be a David versus Goliath. We're talking a ragtag team of nobodies like the 04 Pistons, and they're going to come in, and they're just going to punch this super team in the mouth. That's what's going to happen, and the Bills are going to once again be robbed of a rightful Super Bowl.
I need to smoke whatever you're smoking, Lon. I really do.
And then Alex Anzalone is going to raise that Lombardi trophy. He's going to give me a call. He's going to be like, yo, we're looking for another nose tackle. I'll be like, say less. I'm already
You live
there.
on a whole nother planet, and I
I'm
absolutely love it.
See
Yeah.
y'all later.
Hey, guys. Hey, thank you
We
so
just
much.
lost
This
all
has been-
legitimacy on this.
Really, this has been so much freaking fun. By the way, remember to check us out, realmeneatplants.com. Click on that support button. Help the show, help Paul's party out as well. Take the 30-day challenge, read our blogs, go on our YouTube channel, and catch us on social media all over the place. We appreciate you tuning in. Hopefully you got something out of it. Hopefully you got a laugh out of Honolulu Blue and Lon's pick. Absolutely laughable.
What do you mean? That was a serious pick.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, I'm serious about my pick. DJ Show.
That actually makes it funnier.
It's over.
Hey, Eric, Lon, ST, thank you guys so much for doing this, and we will talk some football, of course, all season long, mixed in with some plants because real men eat plants here on the Real Men Eat Plants podcast. We'll see you next time. See you.